Hello guys, Bionic Lombax here, once again for another video. Today I'm gonna show you quickly an overall analysis of the whole menu, in particular the settings option in your menu. Quick disclaimer, all the things I'm gonna show you are being made in VR, but basically all the same options apply also on the PC version. Of course, many options may not be present in the PC controller version because, of course, in VR, many more options are needed. So you start by clicking on the menu button, and then here you can find the many possible options in your menu. You click on the settings option, and here we are. This is what I'm going to showcase today. Some may be trivial to you, and some may not. So let's start. So thanks to the online status option, you can put yourself available or in the do not disturb or appear offline. If you are available, that means that everybody in your friend list will be able to notice you. If you are in the do not disturb, you are not even receiving, you are not only not online, but you are not even receiving any message from them. And if you just appear offline, you will be able to receive messages, but your friends will think you are not online with them. Okay, so the second two options that you can see there, I've been already explained in full detail in another video of mine, which you can find either in the description down below or in the top right of the screen, should pop up now. And those grants you the ability to either visit the words, which is a beta feature, and also to use the word editor feature, which is in fact what we are discussing in the other video. So let's not focus so much on this now. The personal space bubble, you may already be familiar with it. By turning it on or off, you are essentially making so people too nearby you will disappear completely. For some people that may feel bad in a crowded place, it can help. This show badge, it doesn't appear for everybody, it just appears for people like me, and for example you see Nera here, like this one. This is the badge that all the community helpers have. When you see this badge, it means that we have been promoted by Altspace to be helpers. We don't have any special powers, it's just that we want to help more. And thanks to this badge, we are easy to spot. If you find somebody with this badge in a word, you can basically ask them questions about the game, and they'll be more than happy to help you. Of course, they are normal human beings, therefore be polite to them, and they may be doing something else, so of course ask them politely, like you usually do with me, so thanks a lot for that. I love helping, that's why I'm doing these videos, but just in case. Post messaging is an option that makes you so you don't receive any message. Be aware that this post messaging feature doesn't work with messages coming from admins or moderators from a certain event. Yeah, showing username tags is basically what you would expect. Once you turn this off, people won't be able to see your user tag in games. The re-enter option is actually very useful because you use that to re-enter a place. If you, for example, are having issues with the audio settings, people are not hearing you, you're lagging a lot, and you're crashing completely. In that case, if you are able to open the menu and you click on the re-enter, you will re-enter in the word. Like you click on like this, and yeah, that's what happens. You re-enter the same place. I mean, I saw so many people just instead going into different words and then coming back, for example, into an event, in a word, and that's not very effective. Don't never click the restart tutorial, but if you feel like you didn't understand the tutorial the first time you played the game, you can click here and you will restart doing it. The comfort section of the settings menu deals with whatever makes you feel better while playing. So this is for everybody that, for example, feels problems such as motion sickness and whatever. Blinders are the first step to avoid motion sickness while playing. By turning on off several levels of blinders, what happens is that the moment you start moving like this, you will start seeing all around your view blinders. It will decrease the probability of feeling motion sickness. This is because seeing less area moving in front of you will prevent you from feeling bad. Teleport transition is a very important thing to point out, because by changing that, you can change the transition when you are teleporting. For example, if you make it instant, when you teleport, the moment you release the teleportation button, what happens is that you just instantly appear where you were supposed to go. If you instead change it like a dash, let me do it with a long distance, you will zoom in the direction you are moving. So you can use the blink transition. Using the blink transition means you will just, everything will go to black, and then you will be in the point you were supposed to. Turning is basically what you would expect. The more you put, the more you turn when you use your right thumbstick to rotate. You can even put the constant rotation by doing like that. You can choose all these angles, or you can put it to smooth. If you put the rotation to smooth, you will rotate constantly. The more you use your right thumbstick, the more you rotate. So snap transition works just the same. You can choose between instant, dash, just like the teleport transition. Show speech bubbles just lets you see those bubbles that appears when people are talking in a room. Okay, now let's go to the best part. I'll probably make an highlight of the best features, like in a timestamp or something, so that these features are underlined better from this tutorial. In the input section of the settings, the first option here, fly, is like your golden option, because if a place enables the pilot role, so you can fly in a place. It's not like this flight option is enabled in every world. It is on always in your house. So if you look it up in your own house like I am right now, you'll find it enabled. But in order to enable it in other places, it must be done by the owner himself. They must put the role of pilot into their world using the web browser to access their words, and then modify the roles, the contextual roles, to put the role pilot. And then every person that goes inside and turn this on can fly. Once you turn fly on, instead, if you look up and then you move forward in the direction you are facing. So the higher up you are facing, the higher up you are moving. So as you can see, right now, I am flying. I mean, this kind of fly is more like being able to move in all the directions as long as you are facing them. So if I turn to the left, turn to the right. Of course, as you can see, unless I am sprinting, I'm not moving that quickly. In order to fly quicker, and this is only an option you can use in VR, you can turn on from items the fly tool. You have to click on spawn, and a pen like this is gonna appear. After you click a pen like this, you grab it like you usually grab any objects, and then if you use the trigger button while you are holding the pen with the grip button, I put my pen in a certain direction, I start moving in the same direction. I can even fly proportionally to how far I am from this point. So for example, now I'm flying very slowly, and now I'm flying very fast. If you don't want to use this pen anymore, you can either ungrab it and leave it at that, and it will still be here, or you can just hover next to the pen and you can deactivate it. Let's keep going. So input, the first one is pretty straightforward. Use throw shadow. As you can see, I threw this object around, but you cannot see the shadow from the object. If I instead turn this option on, a shadow is gonna appear. Then, rumble haptics is basically the fact that the moment you are doing stuff in all space, your controllers will start their haptic movements like vibration and stuff. So if you deactivate them, your controllers will vibrate less. These two are actually very important. Cursor on primary action. It basically means that your cursor gets activated only until you start using the trigger buttons. So for example, once I use the trigger button, then the trajectory is going to appear and it will make me able to grab a firework. But if I don't click anything, for example from this hand, I cannot see the trajectory until I actually click the trigger button. Then I'll see the line, as you can see here. But then it will disappear after a while. When you turn on instead one of these two or both of them, this will instantly be turned off. Because on the other hand, these two options grants you the ability to always have these two trajectories on. You see, now I don't need to use the triggers to turn them on. This is also useful because by default only one hand is active like this, and this will prevent you from, for example, experiencing this piano to the fullest. You see, if at first you just have the right cursor always on and you start playing this piano, for example, which is a fully fledged piano, I can play with just one hand. But if I turn the left cursor on, then what happens is I can play with two hands. Another very important feature that you may not know is the teleport aiming one. By default, the teleport aiming is set to arc. This is so that when you teleport yourself using the typical teleportation button, you'll see an arc. But if you change this arc to be like line, you'll see that the moment you are deciding to teleport yourself, instead of an arc, you'll see that you will teleport in the exact point you are pointing directly with your hand. Apparently, these two teleportation methods may appear similar or even just the same, but there is a basic difference in them. Imagine you want to go like directly on the top. You can't, because this teleportation method doesn't allow you to do so. Instead, if you put your teleportation aim to arc, then there is no problem, because you see the arc can actually reach the top. So this is the basic difference. Let's keep going. The display section can be described faster. The UI scale option is just either big or small version. There is no in between. After the UI scale, the movable HUDs may be an interesting topic for you. If you turn them on, you can move the menu options as you wish. Anti-aliasing actually makes it so it increases the resolution of your in-game playthrough. For example, now this is the highest one, and this is if I turn it off. As you can see, it doesn't make that big of a difference. It's just a matter of how powerful your headset is. If you put them to the maximum level, which is 8x, this performance, it may cause performance issue. So it may cause performance issues, so don't do that. What is very useful is the inward render scale. If you choose a different number, you can literally see the decrease in quality. 0.6 is the lowest. Let's apply that. But for me personally, I usually put 2. Then let's go to the audio part. The audio section deals with the management of all the possible sources. Master volume decreases every sources at the same level. So if you put this to 0, everything will be just muted. Voice volume are of course from the voices of people in the room. Environment comes from whatever is put as an environment, so screens, etc. The effect volume deals with the volume coming from, for example, objects. Keep this in mind, this is a beta feature, so it may not work properly. The audio input selection instead decides the source of your audio, for example, your microphone. And that depends on which kind of hardware you are on. For example, if you are from a PC, you may choose your own microphone or a Bluetooth microphone or whatever is connected. This is my microphone, which is technically the real microphone from my headset. And then the audio input filter prevents you from having noise, echoing, and stuff, using different algorithms to filter your voice. But it's still a beta feature, so it's not like it's very reliable. But these two are very important, more than all of them combined. Mute mic by default. This makes so that whenever you enter in a new space or in an event, you are muted completely. Every time you go inside a word, you have to physically click on the mic to turn it on again. This may get very annoying, therefore I suggest to turn it off. And the same applies for mute when all space is in idle. Therefore, every new place you go in will let you stay on with your mic, unless the owner or the administrator or the moderator of that word actually enabled the mute all option. Mute when all space is in idle is instead an option that, if turned on, makes you mute the moment you are not using Allspace for a little while. For example, if you are, for example, playing and then you open another window, you go outside your game, you change, you're not speaking for a little while. Okay, now we're going into the last parts of them. The Jimmy Cam is a feature that is typically used when you are using a PC. It basically lets you use this weird camera. You can see through this camera where you are pointing out, and people that are looking at this camera will see themselves in the reflection. But you cannot take pictures with it. You can just take it with your hand and it's gonna stick to your hand. I don't suggest using it at all, in VR especially, because, I mean, it's kind of buggy. The laser pointer is a tool, very useful, because you can point stuff, and this laser is actually viewable for everybody else in the room, so you can use it in presentations, etc. Just like the pen, you just leave it there and you can delete it or move them around. The fly tool has been already showcased before. You just take it and you use it to fly, like we already showed. And yeah, that's pretty much it, because the support option, the support part of the settings menu deals with basic features that doesn't actually bother you that much. I mean, allow data collection is just for bug fixes and whatnot. If you click show diagnostics panel, you can see the panel here, this panel here, which gives you a lot of information about the place you are in. Of course, none of them are actually useful to you. If you click on the Help Center, it's gonna open a web page with the Help Center on, so that you can actually have you can be helped about many issues you are facing. And you can even upload a log about what happened, for example, a bug reporting or something. So that can be pretty useful. This part lets you know information about the version of the app, the GPU you're working on, this is my GPU, space, state, nothing very useful here. And then moderate. Reset space, reset browsers, and reload workkits are three buttons that I suggest never to click in your life. If you click on reset space, everything that is inside of your place will get deleted, and the place will come back to its default settings without any object or kit put into it. Reset browsers lets you reset every browser you have opened in your area. If you click on reload workkits, what happens is that if there is an update you have made using the website to a kit of yours, gets updated so that you can access new features you may be added later. And of course, the exit button just lets you go away from your application. And so yeah, I managed to, in I hope not so much time, to showcase every useful feature inside of the settings section of the menu. I hope you find it useful, and so yeah, that was everything I wanted to do for this video today. If you have any questions, if I wasn't clear in something, if I didn't explain it correctly in any way, just let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to reply as soon as possible. I'm having so much fun doing this kind of tutorials, so maybe if you have any suggestions for new videos about new features of Altspace you want to be explained to you, just let me know in the comments as well. Bye bye, see you next video.